All right, it's 8:01. We can give people a few more moments to get
Yes,
started, but
sir.
let me put on the lecture.
Oh, it's crazy. I forgot my Zoom password. What is
Well, you're in Zoom, so you don't need it. And you're breaking up, Keith. I know you've got a brand new system, though.
no, the trick. I had my numbers thing off. I just joined the meeting and it let me come in. It's Keith Love.
Yeah,
You can't hear me?
yeah. You just were breaking up.
I'm not breaking up.
You're not breaking up right this second. No, you're
How
okay
do I
this
sound
second.
now?
Much better. Loud even.
Good.
Yeah, good. He says
Oh,
good.
because I spoke up.
All right.
That's a New York answer.
That is. That is. All right. So we're pressing on. We're not going to waste time going over things that you guys can watch on YouTube or using the VODs as you taught me. So we are moving on to more minor pieces today. And as you can see on my screen, we have bishops of opposite color. And bishops are important because, first of all, they can't develop without moving a pawn. So we find a lot of times, I find a lot of times that beginners block in their own pawns, and they do that block in their own bishops, a lot of times by putting this bishop here and murphing that pawn. Hey, LLNP, Irv, you are our first chatter. So he is in there. Oh, I gotta put him out in the middle though. He's boom, 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 boom. There you go. So Irv is my first chatter in the stream too. On top of the fact that he should be in class any moment, right? All right. So we do this, and we've named this after our buddy Murph. That he murphs this pawn by putting a bishop or queen in front of it because the pawn should be pushed. And we're talking about murphing pawns. We're talking about center pawns. Center pawns want to be out in the center and fight, as you guys have learned in everything we've done so far. Every game we play is with pawns, and we need those pawns to be out there in the center. Yes, you are number one and more than that. All right, so that's the first thing to consider, that for this bishop to develop, I need to move at least one pawn, right? All right. When we go into, like, say, things like bishops and knights, uh, knights don't need to move anything to develop unless you want to put it in the second best square. First best, second best, worst. Not even third best, worst. Hey, blah, 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 Max. Hey, how's it going? Welcome. As you guys know, I'm teaching an in real life class to some students on Zoom, and so I won't spend as much time paying attention to chat. I'll try to keep up a little bit, especially when they start playing games. So this is our bishops of opposite color still, but we're going to add knights, and then we're going to get to where we actually add all of the minor pieces, and you're going to play a game where you play with all the minor pieces. And notice we're missing 3 pieces. And the pieces we're missing are considered major pieces. They're worth 5 points or 10 points. All the other ones are 3 points or 1 point. So these are our minor pieces, and minor pieces work. You need to coordinate them. You need to get them to work together well. While the major pieces are pretty obvious. Rooks always want to talk to rooks. And so understanding how to make rooks work together is a little bit easier than understanding how knights and bishops work together. Some of the things you're going to find with bishops and knights is that bishops can restrict knights. All right, so let's say we put this knight here. If I have a bishop sitting here, all right, so let's get that bishop there. We'll just make it that way. This bishop is now attacking this diagonal and this diagonal, and look, that knight, that's 4 of the squares the knight wanted to go to. So you can, well, right now, all of the squares past its own pawn line are covered by this bishop. And you can imagine that if this knight is off to the side, it'd be even worse if I had a bishop. Now remember, it's hitting white. If I have my white bishop here, Let's, again, just force it to be there. So if my white bishop is here, it's taking away all of the squares from the knight. And that's one of the reasons we don't want our knights on the rim, right? We don't want it on the edge ever, not on the back line, not on the 8th line, not on the sides, because they have less scope, less squares, and one bishop can keep that knight out of the game. And the further you get to a corner, the worse it is. Because all the way in the corner, if a knight's sitting here...
Is it fair?
Say again, Keith? You broke up.
Yeah, is it fair to say that if you... Oh, just put that right back there for scope. That if the opposite colored bishop has 2 squares away from the knight,
yes,
covering everything?
Yep, pretty much. But it's not everything. It depends. If the knight's in the center, it's not going to cover everything. It'll cover the forward squares, but it won't cover the back squares. But yes. So 2 knights, if there's 2 squares in between the bishop and the knight, then the bishop can restrict the knight pretty well. But pawns can be used to restrict the knight also. Now here's the thing about pawns and bishops and knights. Knights jump over pawns. Bishops don't. Bishops need open lines to be effective. Open lines. Knights don't. Knights can hop over. So what we call an open position, where you've cleared off some of the pawns and the pawns have been traded, those bishops can become much more powerful in an open position than they can in a closed position. So if we play something closed up like, we'll just make it up again. So if we do something like this where it's all closed down, and we'll just do this. So this whole side of the board on the... I don't know, Janet.
Oh, there you are.
All right. Yeah, you're in the middle of class, yes. So on this right-hand side, on the king's side, you notice that the pawns are all blocked up and locked up. And in this situation, the bishop has no place to go. It's even hard for the knight to get in the game because a lot of the squares it wants to go to are taken. But the knight, as you can imagine, can be a little bit more active. Let's say we go here and we go here and we go here. All right. My knight can go here and attack that pawn. This bishop can't attack anything. Nothing. Can't attack any of the enemy's pawns at all. Impossible. But the knight can. It can attack that pawn. It can attack that pawn. So the knight flourishes better than a bishop does in a closed position. And this is what we call a closed position, right? Pawn lock, whatever you want to call it. They're locked up with pawns. So bishops need to have open open diagonals, but open lines of play. So bishops require that you trade off pawns sometimes to make them more active. And you'll hear people talk about pawn breaks. And the idea behind a pawn break is to open a file, and pawn break is when you trade a pawn. So there's a pawn break. And let's say we go even further. Okay. So now there's a semi-open file. There's a semi-open file, and it's semi-open because there's pawns on it. We don't care about the pieces. We only talk about the pawns. So this is semi-open, semi-open, semi-open for white. If we trade both pawns, now these are semi-open for white. Black. This one is semi-open for white. And if both pawns have been traded off, then this is a fully open file, semi, semi. Okay? So that's just a concept of files, open and semi file and closed files. And all of these, there's no semi-open or open. These are closed files for the moment. But when you make a pawn break by trading any pawn, you create a situation with files that are either semi-open or fully open. Hey, thank you very much. And the rest of the story is that bishops also benefit from pawn breaks because they can become more active. Any questions about that? Because we're going to get right to you. The second part of our lesson from last week is for you to continue playing with minor pieces. And I've already told you what we're going to do, so I want to know, are you guys ready?
Just to go over the pawn break one more time?
Sure. So pawn breaks is any time that we trade pawns. And sometimes it's not that obvious. Sometimes you do this. And you get into, let's say you got into this kind of situation and you're just playing the game. And white says, I want to make a pawn break. So he creates a tension where he can force a pawn break because either black takes or white will take. So he's forcing a pawn break. And black might say, go ahead. And he might take, and maybe black takes this way and says, I want this to be a semi-open file instead of this one.
So D is a semi-open for black.
Correct.
And F is a semi for white.
Correct. Semi-open for white, semi-open for black. Very good.
Okay.
And if you had rooks, which are major pieces on the board, they should be on semi-open. They should first be on open files as a priority, and this is a general rule. Secondly, they should be on semi-open files.
So semi-open is for the opposite color of what pawn is there.
Yes.
And if there's no pawn at all, it's an open file.
Correct.
Okay.
So if black took back this way, this would be an open file. There are absolutely no pawns on it. And that's where he can choose to make this what we would call an imbalanced position instead of the other way where we both have everything looks exactly the same, except I got one pawn pushed, right? So, but two pawns. I got 5 pawns. You have 5 pawns, 1 island, 2. Each of us have 2 islands, and we both have an opposite color bishop. So very, very, very equal, balanced position. But black could take this way to make the first imbalance of these 4 pawns trying to play against these 3 here. But that the semi-open files are not an open file, right? So you have 2 different semi-open files.
Is there a reason you'd want to create an imbalance?
Yes. If you're trying to win a game versus draw a game. So let's say I'm playing somebody pretty strong and I don't want to create a lot of imbalances. I don't want to create a lot of tension. I want to just play very boring and solid and trade and center and just make everything equal. I can also do that if I know I'm better at endgames than my opponent and I get to a totally equal endgame because I assume they'll not know how to play the endgame as well as I do and I should win. So there's times. But for the most part...
Is there an advantage when you have, let's say, a bishop versus a knight or anything like that? Did you want to do that?
Yeah, sure. So creating a situation where one of you has a bishop and the other one has a knight is also creating an imbalance. Having it where you have opposite colored bishops like you do in this situation right now, that's an imbalance. Having different files open, that's an imbalance. And imbalances just make the game livelier, give you more opportunities. There should become opportunities for winning. Either side. It's an imbalanced position, so either side can take advantage. Now, bishops are going to be better in general in open positions. So if we've traded off a few pawns, I want those bishops. If we traded off no pawns or only 1 pawn, the knight might be better. And I've said this many times at the beginner level, which this class is Chess 107, so it's definitely for the beginner level. Knights are sometimes way better than bishops because we don't know how to use bishops properly. But knights, we can learn pretty quickly that we can fork and double attack our opponent and win material. And beginners miss forks all the time. They also miss long-range attacks by bishops. They'll miss that this bishop is all the way over here. They'll go like this and give away a pawn because they didn't realize, that's right, that bishop was all the way over there. I forgot it. I didn't see it way over there. So that also, sometimes happens when you have the bishop, but basically, if you're just looking for an imbalance, you're looking to keep the game lively and look for opportunities, and you're trying to win the game. You don't want to play all the moves your opponent do. You want to, if you get chances, especially if you even feel that you're just a little bit better, and it doesn't have to be better in rating, just maybe better at calculating, you might look for imbalances. So again, bishops can be better in an open position. Knights can be better in a closed position. Just depends. All right. Good questions. Any other questions? Okay, let's start you off with opposite color bishops. Might be boring. We'll see how it goes. The other one I really want to do is with knights, maybe included. But I want you to still learn all of the pieces. And last time, if I remember correctly, we did do 2 bishops. So since we did 2 bishops, why don't we go ahead and we'll add the knight. We'll do this one. I think this one would be better than doing the other. All right, so I'm going to create a tournament. And again, I think 1,600 would be way good enough for you guys, right? So we'll do 4 live stream, and we're going to do a team tournament. So this will be practice, minor, piece.
Marty?
Yeah.
So I'm not home yet, so I'll join when I get there.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Okay. So minor piece play. I'm gonna give it down to 5 minutes, not because you don't have to think, but because you have fewer pieces. So hopefully I can again do a short time frame. And the tournament description is practice with minor pieces. All right, starting position. I'll get to that comment in a second, Shove. I really appreciate the follow and your participating. I do try to get to you guys when I can. Let's see, and we're going to start it in 3 minutes. And we're opening it up to, I got to do advanced settings. And I'm making it for 1,600 and below so that we don't have, you superstars beating up on our beginning students. As we know, they're beginning because it's the beginner's class. All right, so I'll set it for 3 minutes. Let's see if it'll let me do it. No, it says I didn't give you guys enough time. I'm going to try 5 minutes and 2 seconds before I try. All right, that worked. And now I will send out a message to the 4 live stream team, everyone, and ask them if they want to play. All right, we've invited them, and you need to join also, of course. I can put that in the chat if that would help. For those of you that will help, it'll be in the chat. There you go.
No.
Yes, seriously. And what we're working on is minor piece play, and I will go look at that comment while we wait for the 3 minutes. And hopefully we get people joining the tournament. All right. Hey, Busy, how are you? All right, let's see what we got here. Shuvershish, 76. Yeah, it's always fun trying to pronounce things. Imbalance equals counterplay. Yes. You try to create imbalance depending on your position opponent. Creating imbalance versus equal lower strength is always better. But I don't like absolutes, but I'll go with you so far. But creating imbalances versus stronger players is very scary. Yes, it is. But you know what? They're going to create the imbalance anyway. So better to play boring drawers game versus stronger player. Just my opinion. Understand. Thank you. Yeah, linear, I agree that you should play the board at the beginning level. When you get much stronger, like Grandmasters, they're playing the person as well as the board. I guarantee you that Magnus Carlsen played Nepo. He was playing the person. He was looking for things they don't enjoy, right? Yeah. You try to make your opponent uncomfortable, so you do actually look at what your opponent likes and doesn't like. So it depends on the situation. But in general, you can't really go too wrong playing the board. But a lot of times you're going to play the person. All right, yes, and you do have that GM level beard. We have 42 seconds left. I have 3 people signed up. Hopefully we'll get a couple more. So were you not able to join, Keith, because of your rating again? Please tell me that's not
Yes.
true.
I didn't go and do any berserk.
You're supposed to go and play games and get your rating solidified.
Blitz rating.
Yeah, he needs to get a real Blitz rating. Go out and play Blitz games now. What are you doing?
All right, I can do that.
Yeah, that'll help.
All right, play.
I like that, the beard variation. Excellent, Montague. I will go check it. I will use it for the class. So it's starting. We have 3, so 2 people will play first, and that's all right. That's good enough to start us off, so we can see what's going on. I could make it open next time. I tell you what I'm going to do, Keith. The next one I'm going to make is just open, but we'll ask people not to join if they're strong. How's that? Usually my students are pretty. My viewers are pretty good. They're not going to join in if they know it's not for them. In fact, you know what? I could probably change it right now. Let me see if I can change the setting, and we'll get you in there, because you need to be playing. This is for your benefit.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, you should be able to join now. Go ahead and try to join again. And if we get any superstar players, we'll just ask them to not play. All right. So I need to see this game. All right, so right off the bat, they both developed their knights. Remember, knights don't require pawns to move. Murph does center his pawn, and Irv looks to attack the pawn that's not protected. And they only have 5 minutes, so it's going to be a quick game, right? We're just getting the feel for the pieces. It's not like we need them to play great chess, but we also need to play other experimenting, so we don't want it to make it a 10-minute game or a 30-minute game. We only have an hour and a half for this lesson. So we're going to have an imbalance, possibly? Yes. So we not only have an imbalance, but now we have a situation where these are doubled pawns. The only semi-open file belongs to white, which that bishop has a nice file. But we have doubled pawns, so it's imbalanced. And one thing that I see both of them not doing is not using very valuable pieces, right? You notice? So even in the endgame, even when you have very few pieces, development is still critical, because when you develop your pieces, they become more active, and so they have opportunities to help. So that would help both of them. All right, Keith is in, and so hopefully it'll pair you guys up. Oh, you had your in real life game today, Montague? That wasn't fun for you? I'm sorry to hear that too. Yeah, don't worry about it. That means you have room to improve. Bad showing in your first tournaments, don't worry about it at all. You have time to grow and learn. So white missed an opportunity, I believe, but that would have let this in, but then he could have chased him back away again. So it would have been interesting. So maybe here first, and then here, and if he goes into here, everything is protected, right? Remember, the bishop can control everything. So then you could have done this first, with the bishop here. If he takes, you get to take back. If he then comes in here attacking here, you can easily protect. Right? I'd protect this way. I don't want to even trade. And then I can push him out again later. And you got rid of your double pawns and you're pushing through. It looks like Keith got a game, so let's open up that one also and see how they started out. Okay, in deference to the other two, who developed their knights immediately, these two developed or pushed their center pawns, and now are doing much more normal as if they have all their pieces on the board, and that's fine. And remember, beginners don't always even know normal opening lines, right? So that's one of the reasons we do this. This is before we've ever even taught them about opening the center pawns, developing towards the center. We've talked about some of those concepts, but we're mostly just letting them get used to how these pieces work together. Definitely imbalances. We have a potential passed pawn to fight for. Black doesn't have any potential passed pawn. White has 2 pawn islands. Black only has 1. Those are the things that you can look at and decide who's winning and who's losing. Even a game at that level, at this time, I mean, with those pieces on the board. You can still say who's winning, who's losing, and it's going to be based on some of those factors. So it's a long thing, but really you have only a few choices, right? I mean, realistic choices. Where's he going to go? We don't know yet. Where's he going to go? Maybe here. It'll be interesting. All right, let's see what happened here. So after the take, we attack, protect, slide away, come in. Now, again, I like this better. Why? Look at this move he missed. What's that called? It's called the double attack. That was winning. He would have won a pawn. He would have won an outright pawn and be threatening another pawn. He would have been winning. But instead, you move the king, which is good to activate the king, but it allows this. And now the position is very drush. This is very drush. King can't get in. The white king can't get in from here. And the black king can't get in from here. So this is the only playable imbalance that you're going to be pushing for, as is this one. So this looks very much a draw now, while black actually had a chance to win the game. But time, guys. Murph, you're down to 30 seconds. Got to move, my friend. All right. That's okay, Montague. Don't worry about it. Like I said, you got to get the same way we're practicing games. You have to play a lot of over-the-board games for you to get comfortable and play well in them. Now, I don't know, it sounded like you were talking about there was an issue with showing up on time or something for this one. But yeah, I would not stress. It's just all learning, man. It's all learning. Until you're playing for a championship somewhere, it's all learning. All right, so this game lost on time. It doesn't matter. We're not worried about it. These are all casual games anyway. We're just learning how the pieces move, so I really don't worry about wins and losses, definitely. And don't even worry about black missing the winning moves that he did, or at least winning material moves. We do want to get used. Sorry?
When we get a chance, can the two of us see that?
Yeah,
I guess you showed it to everybody else, but
yeah, I was showing it to them. I take it you two weren't watching. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No, well, no, I hope he wasn't.
Yeah. So.
No, when we're done, I'd like to see that.
Okay. Yeah. No problem
I
whatsoever.
wasn't watching, but as soon as I made the move I did, I'm like, oh yeah.
Oh, okay, so you know.
Right.
Well, when you
The
move
only one that doesn't know is me.
when you move the king back, Murph, I had a fork opportunity instead of.
He blew it.
Could have moved my knight. I think it was to.
still have the knight. Okay.
Yeah, and I would have checked your king, but I would have won a pawn on the other side.
This one.
Ah, see now, why not go after the bishop? I know this looks like that pawn is hanging, but the bishop would be hanging and this pawn would be hanging. So there would be two hanging pieces. Now you'd still have to worry about him a little bit, but you can always
You gotta show me this later.
push.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll show you later.
You told me the F3 pawn is going to take. I don't see the bishop part, but okay. Okay.
No, there wasn't a bishop lost. It was just a pawn. You would have lost a pawn.
Okay, I misunderstood you. Okay.
Yeah, you would have just lost the pawn.
Okay.
See, now he takes with check, and the king has to go away, or you put the knight in front.
Right. Okay.
So instead, I don't understand the knight move, because the king should have come up here to protect the pawn. If the king came up here to protect the pawn, the bishop has no place to go, nothing to do. And you've snatched a free pawn. And that's why I wanted the king here, because then you can chase here and then threaten to win the bishop. So it's all tempo. But the king should have stayed on the bishop, because then the bishop would have wanted to run away. You could have still pushed on the knight, and then when the knight moves, you'd still win the pawn. So this pawn should have been black's to win, except black went this way. So white should have protected the pawn. But moved the wrong way and now gave away a pawn, and of course this pawn drops also. All right, again, this is just an opportunity, guys, to learn how pieces, how they work together. This, and this is the problem with beginners, right? We give away free candy. This game, unfortunately, had 4 or 5 times free candy was given away. And Murph, I don't consider when you would have given away the pawn because of the fork as giving away free candy. You missed a tactic called the double attack. That's all. So free candy is like in this case where this last move was just, let me put the knight someplace where it's not safe. That's just free candy. Right? And this whole attack here didn't have to happen in this rhythm. He could have taken here first and then taken here, instead of taking away the one defender of the pawn. And then now with the check, he should have went here, so that way he can't even do this, because then you push the knight and he's going to lose the bishop or the knight. But instead he moves the wrong way, and then he could have protected the pawn, so he gave away free candy. That time, that's free candy. And then this is just free candy. And now black is very low on time, even though he's winning a lot of material. Keith, you're low on time, but not that it matters. Again, it's just for the learning, so it's okay. Stella! Yeah, so not even defender. The king is not just an excellent defender in endgames. The king is an excellent attacking piece in endgames. We want to attack with our king. Right now, black is up a whole piece, and he should be able to make a pass pawn, but his problem is he's very low on time. He does have a 2-second increment, though. And here's another fork, Murph. Forks are there to be had. Can't even come over and attack both pieces. Now, this allows him to attack both pieces, so black's got to be careful. White's going to get a double attack if black isn't careful. And black is still low on time. So one of these two have to leave town. And neither one left. Now that might be okay if you can get through, but there's your double attack I warned you about. And now you get to lose this one. Now, I would have moved here, but again, he was very low on time. He could have put the knight here and said check. He would have taken the bishop, but then the knight's protecting the pawn to push through. And now they're both low on time. Got to protect the pawn. And why do I say here instead of here? Because here you protect all these squares and you have more scope, then here you would have only been hitting here. That's okay. You got to remember, it's a fast timed game, right? We're playing very fast. You got to remember, Keith, they're very fast. So, Murph, did you see the position we were talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't need me to show you?
I watched him. That one I saw.
Okay, so it's right there, right? He has another check and wins the pawn. And then he's threatening another pawn. And by the way, he's also threatening, this is where he's talking about he could also possibly win your bishop. So if he had went check, right, you would have had to move though, so it wouldn't be there anyway, right? You don't have this move anymore. But now you're threatening the pawn can move, and then your knight has to find, and he always can come back here. So he'd be winning a pawn. All right, and Murph, also back here, one of the things I was saying, and this is a little harder to see, but you have a bishop, and you could get the pawn to hit there. And if you had come here, oh, there's game started. Hopefully you guys aren't missing your games.
Hey Murph, it's me and you, bud.
Yep, I got you. Thank you.
And we had somebody ask to join the team. Of course. Glad to have you join the team. Sorry it took me so long to get you in there. Got that game showing? All right, let's go to this one. All right, so again, let's see how they start off this game. Murph and Keith, both center pawns, nice, normal, and we get, this is second time we've seen someone say, hey, there's a pawn to go attack. So this is what we call a one-move attack. And what's wrong with this move? Well, it attacks a pawn. It's not defended, right? Can't even push to get it out of the way. But what do you have after the king goes over, or even the bishop, right? Murphs it. What do you have now? And the thing is, we didn't develop a piece, and we moved our piece twice. Now it is centered, and it's going to take a while to get him out of there because this guy has to move. But it's just something to be considered. It'd be better to actually develop your pieces first. So if the bishop were here, then you could have attacked this way. All right, so let's just talk about that for a second. If instead he developed his bishop here, and then let's say let's say he did something bad. Well, then you can attack the pawn, and when the king moves over, your bishop would win this pawn. Because you'd be removing the defender. Right? So then he would have had to do something like use the bishop to protect the pawn. And then you could actually take with your knight, and you'd have double pawns. Who knows if that's what you want to do. But anyway, options, options, options. All right. That's a Phantom. Phantom said somebody was waiting to get in. All right, and then we have Irv and Auschwitz. And Auschwitz is giving away free candy. Irving gave away free candy. Okay, no he didn't, did he? Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, it just gave away a free knight. He took the knight, and then his opponent gave him back a fork and said, "Okay, you can have back the piece. I don't feel good about taking your free candy." So this is like, at Halloween, you taking free candy from a baby or taking free candy from a little kid, and then you feel bad about it and you want to give it back. I guess. I don't know what's going on. I would have said that Irv is experienced enough, and his rating is, this is Blitz though, 1523, and I know he's not good at speed, but gave away free candy at 1523. You would hope that we're not giving away free candy anymore. And did you even take a pawn when you gave away that free candy? True. Very good, Shu. Very good. Which they'll learn about later, right? When we get to the major pieces. They should have got good? What is good? G-U-D. All right, so this game is still going on. Let's see. So here, this is interesting too. All right. So here, obvious only attack. I would have pushed. So that way it doubles up the pawns. Right? That would have been a pawn island. 2, and 3 pawn islands, I would have pushed. If I'm going to lose the pawn anyway, I want to get something for it. Instead, he attacked that pawn, which is a counterattack, but doesn't help me protect this one. And now he's attacking this pawn if he takes. Okay, that's pretty clever. But I think once you push here, you're done with your cleverness, and you're still going to lose this pawn. So I would have pushed it a long time ago. And he didn't do it, right? But now he can still take the pawn because he moved it. I would have taken over the center and restricted this bishop to having no good, much fewer squares. I'd put all these pawns on white and keep that bishop out of play. All right, so now he's down a pawn, and now he has to notice the difference. He could have forced double pawns on his opponent and tried to take advantage, but not happening anymore. All right. Can't do that. This is a bad game now. And it started with giving away free candy, so. Oh, really? Oh, man, you teach me something every day. Thank you, Linear. I learn something new about the internet and the world every day. So what to do? Here, black might say, hey, I'll double them up, maybe. Oh, we're going to say you take, I take. But then I still have doubled, and black doesn't. And it just depends. Do you want to have the bishop, or do you want to have the knight? Here we go with those imbalances. Look at this position. No pawn breaks, and we're going to get some kind of imbalance here probably. Yep, doesn't have to. Doesn't have to. You can just take to keep from getting double pawns. But again, it depends if he thinks he wants to have the bishops or not. Tough calls, man. Tough calls. Yeah, moves like that. If he takes, you take. He pushes, you come back and hit that square. But then he has a pass pawn, so that's scary. That's really scary. Do you feel comfortable playing that out? Because you don't even win a pawn for it. And this one, it looks like white has gotten the opportunity to block things up, and he's trying to survive. Oops. But, it's going to be hard to push both because of this. But, unfortunately, that still means the king gets in. Once we've locked down the pawns, it's hard. This is a nice try. Can push there and keep the king out of there. Yep. Unfortunately, the king still has a free move. Now you can kill a move, but then he kills a move, and it's white to move again. He's just going to have too many pass pawns coming at him. He's going to have 3 across. Look at that. And you can't take any of them. Yep, that should be over. But, hey, he gave away free candy last time. Hey, good night, Montague. Hey, let me try out my... I got a new one I created. I love doing the bots to make it so that I can type things, at least communicate with you while I'm teaching. All right, so the knights did get traded with the king taking. Yep, decision was made to stop from having the doubled pawns. And our pawns are on white, and we have a white bishop, which means our bishop is not as active, as this one is keeping the king out and keeping pawns out. So a good move might be to push this pawn, and then look, that bishop has no scope, right? You want to keep that bishop out, but then he gets to push, because you can't get this one there. So this will be interesting. Spasibo. Hey, you too, my friend. Hasta luego. Que tengo buena noche. Notice he's still stuck at home base. He's active. He could even be more active. Not a bad idea, but didn't have to really worry about it because he would have been able to win material. Doesn't hurt either. 35 seconds for Keith. Again, he's got to play faster. Whoa, what'd I miss? Oh, yeah. Well, we knew that was coming. So now we might get a stalemate. You never know, especially when you get second queen. You got chances for stalemate. Like right now, if that king moves, it's not stalemate because you have a pawn. Doggone it, you still got a pawn. And that's checkmate. Had to get rid of this pawn for any chances for... whoa! What am I talking about? Pawn's going this way. Just gave away one of his two queens. Yeah. Okay, now move the king and it's stalemate, right? Yeah. I missed that. Look at that. Pawns go this way. Who knew? Who knew that pawns go that way? Maybe I'll go get another queen and stalemate him still. Now he has no pawns. So now he's got to... Oh, you had to go here. At least make it tougher for him. But yeah. Yeah, not bad. Not bad. Again, doesn't really matter. And yes, you're down to 9 seconds, Keith. You must move. I wonder if Keith knows about pre-moves. Go, Keith, go! Run! Run, Forrest, run! Too bad that king's in a way. That bishop might have been able to attack something. Think that bishop needs to come back? Nope. All right. You only got 3 minutes left, so there shouldn't be any more games, hopefully. That works out just fine. We can get back to the lesson. Sorry?
That was interesting.
Yeah, I think all the... we're learning, right?
Yeah, that game, that's what I meant. That game was interesting.
Yeah, I think we learned from the peace movement and how they go. In fact, since Keith said that, I mean, Murph said that game was interesting, we could take a quick look at it if you like, together.
It started up another game, Marty.
Oh, it did? Go ahead and play. I'm surprised it did. Only because it's got only 2 minutes and 58 seconds. So I guess we'll get another opportunity. Hey, thanks, TK. Always good to see you in the house. Appreciate the raid. Oh yeah, you guys should finish your games because it's still learning, right? It's just for learning. It's not. We don't care about the tournament.
When he finishes this game, the one that I played him has some interesting things, and one of the things that we've all run into that's in here is there's multiple attacks going on, and the question is, where do you put your focus?
Yep. Yeah, it's good questions. We can go over that game. That'll be a good one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I'd wait for him to finish his first. That's what I'm saying.
Fair. Sounds good. Sounds good. So we are doing our 107, class 107, beginner's class on basics of chess. And we are learning about minor piece play by actually playing tournaments, games, right? Playing multiple games. Quick games, though, just because we have very few pieces anyway. But quick games with only some minor pieces. Right now, we're only doing it with 1 knight and 1 bishop. We're going to be graduating to 2 bishops and 2 knights momentarily. If you are 1600 or below, we'll invite you to play with our beginners and learn how the minor pieces work together. So, you are welcome to join. We're excited to have you. So that was one choice. Another choice is to take first, right? Have them take back, create that imbalance, double pawns, and then come here and attack and threaten and see what you can get. But this is good too. This one's protected and this one's protected, so I'm not sure this move does much. except if you take here, then you get to take there. But right now, it doesn't seem to do much. And in fact, if you just chase, the take there does nothing. Okay. This game, oh, wow. They went pretty far, pretty fast. So we already saw free candy right here with a fork. Nice fork to start off with. And just taking as many pawns as he can. 2 pieces still not in play. And, you know, we need to have active pieces, guys. That's an interesting choice because it could have went here. But don't have to. Especially if he has an idea in mind. And I don't know what idea he had in mind, but... And now, knights, I told you, could be tricky. So this is really good because you guys are seeing how bishops are not tricky pieces, but bishops can be powerful pieces. They're not tricky, but they can be powerful. All right, so what went down here? We had this threat. Black did nothing about the threat. So as I told you, you could remove the defender and win a pawn. And that is exactly what happened. And then he traded off and traded down. So now he has a pass pawn and he has a potential pass pawn. So first of all, he won 2 pawns. He's up 2 pawns. So 2 full pawns ahead of his opponent. So now it's, see, this I don't like. I like this. I like getting out into the board. I like being, it's still not active. But at least he's bringing him over to maybe help the pawn. This is interesting. You take, you take. If you go here, my pawn starts running, and I should be able to block you out. See, he doesn't even want to take. Take, take. Then he could have moved away. But take, take. And if the king were to have taken, and then the king would have been in this money. And look at that. Just step back, said nope, nope. And now we're going to wait for Zugzwang. And Zugzwang, oh, never mind. I guess we're not waiting for Zugzwang. So Zugzwang would be where you are compelled to move. By the way, he could have still caught him if he went back. If he went back, he could have still caught him. Now he cannot catch him. So he's got a queen. He takes. He goes. He takes. He goes. He has to move out of the way. And then he queens. And then he can start pushing, and it's way too late. This queen should be able to come back and win the game. So white needs to push, push, push. Let's see how this one went. Yes, that's a good tip. Put your pieces on different colors so that you don't get knight forked, right? If your pieces are on the same color as each other, they are liable to be knight forked. Knight forks have to...
Can I ask a question here?
Yeah. Where?
In this game, I think you mentioned that Irv hadn't developed.
Yes.
He's won a piece.
Yes.
Is that forgive?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, but once he finished winning free material, like instead of that move, he could have started developing his pieces. He just has to get the bishop into the game, and attack at the same time.
Okay.
But he's taking space. He's being aggressive, so I have no complaints. But he needs. So this was good. He finally got the king into the game, and that's where I said he had to develop his pieces. So.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah. He's just keeps finding free candy. That's unfortunately, and he's looking and finding free candy, and he could have taken this one, and that would have been it. If he had taken that one and then put his knight back there, that would have been an easy win. So now he's attacking that pawn deep in the corner. Now, does he take? King take back, king go here. King can go here, king can go here. Yep, he could stop the pawn. So he could take, oh, he does it. But he has to go here because this pawn is closer than any of his pawns. He just has to keep, okay, yeah, why not? Opposition is better. That is better. All right, knight holds this pawn, so this pawn should run. Didn't need to do that at all. That's a wasted move. That was a wasted move. He should have been pushing the pawns. Now this pawn, knight, the king can't take the back pawn anyway, so this is easy win. Easy win. He could bring the king over. He could do multiple things here. And he could just queen. All right, so that should be an easy win. Whoa, we got multiple queens again. Okay, this should not have happened. What happened here? Because he should not have won this game. Well, there you go. There you go. And why? Because we should have gotten our queen way before black got a queen. And so whoever gets a queen first is winning. And Keith should have gotten the queen first. So he did all this was pretty good. Again, I don't think he should have run his king over there. I think that pawn is fine by itself. His king can't get here. I mean, he has to go here to win it. And while he's winning that pawn, his king could be getting over here and eating all of his pawns. And then he has too many pawns.
You could create a pass pawn on the H file since the king's all the way over on the left side.
That's correct too. Now that his king is locked in over here, he could have just stopped playing over here, and he could have pushed his pawn all the way, right? Or actually, he needs to push the candidate pawn first. Sorry. So this pawn should have been pushed. And then he would have pushed this pawn to make another pass pawn. And yes, he would have won easily. He should have won easily. But this just gives away a free pawn. That just gives away a free pawn.
Right.
Now, black didn't take. So again, white can start making the pass pawn over here, which we've learned how to make a pass pawn. We know how to make a pass pawn. Also, the king could have come up. The king coming up would have been good, or the making a pass pawn would have been good.
Well, if you can get pass pawns on opposite sides of the board,
it's an easy win.
Right, okay.
But right now, this king is protecting. Yeah, so... Yay. Oh. That was Keith was black.
Yes. I heard you say I wasn't saying anything.
Yeah, Keith was black, so... Yeah. Keith found a way to win. Okay. All right, yes. We're happy for you, Keith. But yes, whoever it was shouldn't have lost that game. And yep, all right. All right, so that should be all the games. Yes, all right. So let's go.
Take a quick look
Yep.
at the one I had with Keith.
We're going to look over the game you had with Keith. So again, let's see what's going on. So at this point of the game, I'm going to assess the game. We have 2 pawn islands. Oh, I'm sorry, we have 1 long pawn island. Nobody's traded any pawns. No pawns have been traded. We do have a discovered attack possible. If that knight moves, that pawn falls. Or at least it's under attack. It doesn't fall. It would be under attack. And this was the move we talked about that, he could do just to make things simple. I think, no, this was not the position. I was thinking of a different position. All right. No worries here. Tax the pawn. Okay. Black decides to defend the pawn, which also means that it no longer is a discovered attack on the pawn. Pushes the pawn, locks in the pawn chain. All right. All right. So far, so good. Like it, making space on the queen side. Pushes the bishop back. Remember, the pawns are on. So the bad part is both of them, their bishops have become worse because their own pawns are on the same color as their bishops. All right. And then we get knight comes back. Okay. You offering a trade. This was the one I remember. Yes, he decided not to take the knight, and then you take the bishop, which would have given you double, which would have given white double pawns. But okay, and we trade, and now the king can become active, and we didn't want to take, I guess, to help the bishop become active, and plus, of course, he'd have a pawn here with no defense. So good choice there. And yes, now we're starting to get imbalances. We have a potential pass pawn here, right? And a semi-open file here. Semi-open, semi-open. And the semi-open, because it's on the outside of the pawns, this one is a potential pass pawn. Oh, not anymore now? Oh, you were talking about earlier? Okay. So this is the wrong pawn to push to make a pass pawn, right? So guys, we've talked about making pass pawns. And this is how you make a pass pawn, then this pawn, and we'd make a pass pawn. Not saying you need to right now with the king hanging out here anyway, but I'm just saying that's how you make a pass pawn, because we saw the game with Keith and Off that just finished where Keith got to win. He shouldn't have won that game. Off was up 2 pawns with king against king. There's no way you should lose up 2 pawns with king against king and the position on that board. There was no reason that game should have been lost. All right, so yes, h4 is not only interesting, it's the way that you create a passed pawn. Linear, one of our viewers says, guys, that when I learned how to actually make passed pawns, it was a game changer for me. I remember how blown my mind was when I heard about pushing the candidate first. Very good. Yes, making, and so now again, black did nothing. See, black should have done this, right? So black, who's black? Murph, you are?
Yeah.
This move stops the passed pawn. Can't make a passed pawn. That's why this was the wrong move. This move stops this pawn dead in its tracks, and then you can move your king. Okay, so you allowed Keith to play this move, which he should have jumped at that move, because again, he could have made a passed pawn. So when you moved here, Keith's move should have been here, and guess what? It was. Good job, Keith.
Thank you.
Good job. So bishop comes in to try to protect. So now again, our king needs to get into the game. You can always make this passed pawn later. You can make it now if you wanted to, and he does. Makes the passed pawn right away. But now you got to still attend to things. And guess what things you need to attend to is this king is doing nothing, and this bishop isn't doing anything because this bishop can't attack that pawn right now. So I like the bishop back here. I also like protecting this pawn, but then he gets here, right? So that's going to be a problem for you. So the king needs to either come over and fight over here, or the bishop needs to come and fight over here, and the king can go this way. But you need to get your pieces active, and right now the pieces are not. Good. Went for activity, except, right, we're dropping a pawn. Now, how could you have helped yourself, right? You could have helped yourself that way. Again, he doesn't have to take. He could have moved because you're not going anywhere, right? That pawn's not going anywhere. So he could have said, I'm not going to even trade. I'm going to keep 2 against 1 so I can make a passed pawn. And that's where you could have said, good, I'm going to try to stop you. Right? I mean, he could come here, but you're going to run and win. Well, maybe not win, but I'm kind of liking white now again. Anytime you got, and now because this one could run. So anyway, the point is, you needed to take, my friend. And I think it's obvious here that you can't give away free pawns, so you might have had to take here first. But regardless, you could have also just taken here and see what happens. But now you definitely, I think, taking, because if Murph were to take this way, again, the bishop can hold both pawns. And all you have to do is get your king here. Right? The bishop, these pawns are stopped by this one pawn, basically. All right. So king to f3 is good, attacking the bishop. But we're still ignoring this situation. Need to deal with that situation. But we came after, and this is fool's gold, right? Because actually he gets over here in time, I think. Yep, he gets there in time. So now you still have to worry about this stuff. So again, taking here. If he doubles up, your bishop is going to be able to hit there later. So you got, and this does what? This takes away the one square that your king had.
Yeah.
Your king has no moves now. And the bishop is doing nothing. Right? He was doing this from long distance. You don't need to be next to the piece. So this was like the worst move you could make. It's like, I'm going to make my king totally inactive, and I'm going to make my bishop bad in one move. So now you have...
running out of time.
Yeah, that's hard when you're down to 7 seconds. Yes, you're down to 7 seconds. Simpler would have been just to take here. I don't know why he didn't. Murph, I don't know why you didn't. Because now you again have the potential, you're going to make a passed pawn. This pawn isn't passed.
That was stuck on my head more than anything.
Yeah, so the extra pawn move, I don't get. Keith should have, oh, that's when you timed out. So Keith should have taken. Then you would have had to do this. Keith would have woke up, hopefully, and come back. And now what? Your king has to go back over here to stop this pawn. And when your king leaves, he's going to win your bishop.
Right.
So this is a losable game now for black because of that move, giving away this pawn. But good job, guys. Good job. Hopefully that was educational. We got a half an hour left. Let's do one more because I really want to get you to one more.
So the net result for that last one is you need to pay attention to both fronts.
Yes. You definitely need to pay attention. And if you can create tension and attacks on both fronts, your opponent is going to have to try to deal with both. Usually we tell you to find one front to attack and to be focused on, but there are benefits to being able to start trouble on two different fronts, right? Because your opponent has to try to cover them both. And in the end game, especially in the end game. All right, let's use this one. No, that's not the one. That's bishops against knights. Did we not do that?
No, we haven't.
Wow, should we do bishops versus knights first? Because we still have to do all the minor pieces. Not that one. So we have this one. Where's my other one? How am I missing it? I don't see it. We should have all the pieces. There we go. So we did bishop and knight against bishop and knight. We haven't done bishops versus knights, but I think let's graduate you. The last one we'll do is this one. And again, everybody can join in. And this is more of a practice than preaching. I already did some teaching and preaching, and we're doing it as we go through when you guys identify questions. So I'm happy with that. That's okay. I think that's fine. It's helping you still. And let's go and create another tournament. And we're not going to make it for a rating because otherwise one of our major students can't play. Starting position. We'll make it start in 3 minutes. We'll make it 5 and 2, I think I was able to get away with. For only 30 minutes. We'll run a little over. And we're not going to use, I'm going to turn off Berserk and weird stuff like that. Don't need that. Okay, create the tournament. There you go. Oops. See, I can play in it. All right, so I withdrew. For all of you that are out there that wants to practice with some minor pieces, especially if you're not superstars, don't want to overwhelm our beginners with you excellent superstar players. You need me to put it in chat, guys, or are you good?
I think I'm in.
You're in already, but I didn't see anybody else, so there, it's in chat also. And hopefully Janet will be back. Hopefully she gets home safely. Wow, busy. You were busy.
I'm here.
Oh, okay.
I'm here. I just haven't been able to get into the tournament.
Okay.
It's in the chat right now, you said?
I put it in the chat. Yep. I put the link in the chat.
Go to community.
And live stream.
Okay, community live stream. All right, got it.
Community teams live stream.
Here's
Right.
I put the link in your Lee Chess.
Okay.
So busy, you've been busy with your chatting. I trust you, busy. You know Endgame, so I'm not going to read it for accuracy. I'm sure you know what you're talking about.
Candidates for live stream.
Full live stream.
I got it. I'm in.
So you don't want to move. What situations where you don't want to move the candidate, but the other pawn to prevent the advance? Yeah, you'd have to show me what you're talking about. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care, busy, but just understand you're playing against real beginners. They're going to give away free candy and a lot of other things too. So might be a little fair if you watch, but yeah. Now I'm happy to do this same exact tournaments, guys. With any other day where all of you could play. But since we're doing the beginner's class, that's why. Oh yeah, if you're not trying to create a pass pawn, then yes. I don't even know if you think about the candidate if you're, right? I mean, do you have a candidate? Because if you're not, I mean, if you can create a pass pawn, I think that would still probably be your primary idea. Yeah, I think that's same as me. I mean, we do have odd numbers, so if you joined, at least they would have, no one would have to sit out. But yeah, if you could play blindfold or something, I think would be fairer. Yeah, busy. What's your rating in Busy's like 2100 or something. He's a little high up there.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
All right, let's go watch these games, and hopefully we won't see any free candy given away. We have arenas. So we have an under 2200 World Championship qualifier arena. I don't do too many just arenas. So a lot of the other streamers do, and you can always find those. You can also find tons of them under Play Arena Tournaments. I go there and play, and that's for anybody, and they're rated. But the ones I do are usually for a purpose. So we have the under 2200 World Chess Championship Qualifier Tournament. So if you ever want to play in that, that's on Monday, 8 o'clock. We're going to be doing one this Friday at 11 Eastern Time. So you could play in the qualifier. That's an arena, and it's a 10 plus 3 minute. And then I do these only teaching less. This is part of the lesson. So that's only when that gets done. And so we're trying to do it for 1600 and below because this is for the beginner's class. I'm looking at doing an intermediate class because this is the Chess 100 series. I'm thinking about simultaneously starting the Chess 200 series, which would be for intermediate players, and then it would probably be open for anyone if I do arenas at the end of those. The Swiss is the candidates Busy's referring to, where all the people that have qualified get to play in a candidates tournament, and the winner of the candidates, and by the way, that's by points, not by tie break. So if we have a tie after the rounds, we will do a playoff between those people that are tied. The winner of the candidates tournament plays for the World Championship. They get to play against the reigning world champion, who happens to be Brandon Reese Elliott, who also streams, by the way. But they'll play against him. He's from England, and he is the current champion. We've had multiple champions. He is a two-time champion. He defended his crown last month. Won the crown would have been November, defended it in December, and now he's going to have to defend it again for the month of January. And we have a nice, strong field. I believe this is the first time that we've done the January is our first time bumped it up to under 2200. He won it when it was on the under 2000, and then retained it at the under 2000. And this time he's going to have to play for the under 2200. So people like Busy, I think, are even qualified to play. That would not be next Monday. That'll be the 31st. Next Monday is another qualifier. So it'll be the 31st of January will be the candidates. Yes, every month we do a world championship. Every month. And so the 31st will be the candidates. And then I think it's the 3rd if we do it on Wednesday, or the 5th if we do it on Friday will be the world championship match. And that one we try to make sure both of them can make it, right? Since we have a legitimate challenger and we have the champion, we try to do it at that point. So Keith and Janet, all right. I like seeing you two play each other. Let's see what we have. We have a London system without the queens and rooks, and we gave away a pawn. Gave away a pawn. Got the pawn back because that pawn was hanging the whole time. Nicely done. All right, Janet is playing well. Pinning pieces, taking free pawns. Janet and Keith, just remember, you're playing a 5-minute game. So, Keith, you're already down to like half your time. Got to be careful. So, Janet sometimes gives away free candy. Sometimes she just forgets and gives away free candy. So, we're hoping no free candy today. We're hoping Janet gives away no free candy today. Good job. Can't take. It's an absolute pin. Don't know if I like it here. All it does is entice black to continue moving instead of just coming all the way back here and getting out of the way. Hey, Alpha, how are you? We're in the middle of our in real life class, but they are playing their practice games, so I can actually notice that you guys are here. How's it going? I love my, I'm sorry, but I love the icon that shows that you're a subscriber. I love the bagel. I think that's just everything bagel for my subscribers. That's like perfection for me. Anyway, this game's looking pretty good. Let's go see how my brother, I love my brother. I like to always cheer him on, support him. And I'm liking what I'm seeing.
He doesn't need any help.
Oh, he's playing Murph.
He does not need any help.
I'm not helping either one of you. I'm just cheering you guys on.
Cheering or otherwise.
I think Murph's doing great in this game.
You might want to talk to him and distract him a little bit for me.
Okay, I could do that. I could try distracting him. Nice move, right? Because he was in trouble. He was in trouble. So he had to find a way out, which cost him time on the clock. But Murph, you got to play faster. Don't get stuck on time. You don't have to find the best move, just a good move. When you're playing a quick game, you're looking for the good moves. So not good, right? This just drops a pawn, guys. Free candy. Now, will we see it? Yes, it is linear. Will we see it? Hey, Alpha, thanks for using my cat. I like those. I use them all the time, especially on other people's streams. I especially like the Hallelujah one. Yeah, so White missed this opportunity. That was just free candy, guys. That was just free candy. It was like, take my free pawn, please. That was just a free pawn left there for the taking. All right, so a nice defensive move here, locks it in, and black could have hit at it, right? Black could have tried to hit at it and break that up, do a pawn break, but not. And now we have more pawn breaks here. So very interesting. They've only traded off one piece, and White has the infamous two bishops, as we said, at your guys' level, at the beginning level, at my level. Having both knights might be better than having both bishops sometimes, depending on the position, but also depending on your proclivities. How well do you know how to play with the pieces that you have been bequeathed? So, here would be cool, right? But easily chased, because the knight holds. So I like, well, actually, if he chases, you get to take here, but you still lose the piece. It's a trade. So I like here. Why? Because again, we talked about this. It would keep this knight out of here, here, and this knight out of here, which already is taken out. So yeah, this kind of move I like. Or of course, you could do this, but now you both have. They would be very back to a balanced position. And again, you usually want imbalances if you want to play as Shuvesh said, if you want activity and chances, you want to have an imbalanced position. So again, two bishops against the one bishop, but and Keith is way low on time. Keith, watch your clock. All right, so we didn't move at all. What did get moved? Oh, the king got into the game. He was like, go ahead and take. Okay. Didn't care about the two bishops. So, again, I like this. Except, this is why I like the bishop here. See, then the knight can't go here and say check. So, I still like, oh, look, he found it. He found it. I know he's not watching. They do not watch. Which one was another free pawn, Busy? Over here? Did we miss another free? Oh, yeah. Yeah. More free pawns. Oh, another free pawn. And that's what happens when you're low on time, guys. You miss everything. Now, here's a tricky one. If she... Whoa. Well, okay. But if she had hit this one, this would win the knight. No, I'm sorry. No, it couldn't win the knight. I was thinking it would keep the knight. But you can't win the knight. What's he doing? Where's he going? Oh no, why not here? Why not take away squares? What's this? Why not take away squares? Alright, I can start with that one. You're gonna lose that one. Can't go here. Can go there. But yeah, I don't know why we didn't go here. Alright. What? So it's just taken. What? Maybe now. No, can't go there now. Look at that. Look at that. Now pressuring. Oh, I'm pushing her around. He could have just kept bothering her. Nope. Should have just taken. So when you're ahead of material, what do you do, guys? You trade down. When you're ahead of material, you trade down. And that's one of the things they still need to work on. And those are principles that we will be talking about later. At the very beginner level, at our Chess 100 class, our series of classes, we're just trying to get them right now comfortable and a little knowledgeable about how these pieces work together. So they still give away free candy. They give away tempos from time to time. They don't trade down when they're up material. You know, all those type of things. Now they're both really low on time, so this is going to be a time scramble. This will be a fun one to see how they finish. He's going to start. They're going to both go into thinks, and somebody's going to lose on time. I will bet money that they lose on time.
Time. Ooh, not on my side. Would you say, Marty? Time's an extra piece, right?
Oh, it is. Easily. And look how much time he's taken to find that move. Seriously? What took you that much time to find that move? And this move? What's taking time? This should not take time. This should be pre-moves. I mean, this holds all day long. But he's, I don't know, either he's got a slow mouse or touchpad, who knows, but he's not moving. You know, see what I mean? He's, what? I would have been like, oh, you moved. I got to move. You moved? I got to move. Notice that the bishop holds the pawn, so the king can't get here because of this pawn, and he can't get there, and he can't take. And he's just taking all the pawns away. This is the only one that he's going to be able to attack even. And when he does, he can push. And he wins on time, right? I told you, someone's going to lose on time. All right, there should be another round starting up, though.
Good effort, Murph.
Yeah,
Okay, Keith, you're in a game. You know that, right?
coming up
You
short.
sure? I'm playing.
All right.
I didn't realize your bishop had that pawn protected.
Yeah.
I was like, why won't let me take the damn thing? What's going on?
All right, so now I gotta edit out the end of this so that I can say it's good for
Alright.
kids.
Murph, you made a mistake.
I made a lot of mistakes. That was a big one.
Okay, I gotta remember at this time of night, what is it, 9:25? Okay, I gotta go back and cut it like at 9:20 and say, okay, that's enough. The rest of the class isn't important. They need to have a way that you can beep out stuff. Yeah. You go back and you find that little snippet and beep.
There's already a delay, so you just need a beat button.
Yeah, there you go.
That's funny.
I don't know, Busy, I believe you. I take it you're not talking about this game. You're talking about the previous game when they were under time scramble time. Yeah, time scramble time. Time scramble problems. So I believe black is trying to decide if he can do this, but it's not a good move. To do that, you come here and then 2 pieces are attacked. So now though, now that's under attack. So what are you going to do?
Irv, I think I may have caught something from the Cowboys. I keep making mistakes and running out of time. This is not good.
Oh. I didn't want the free candy, I guess. Now this one was free also, but this one came with a check. So it might have been a little bit more attractive. Also, there's this to double up the pawns. All right.
Janet, go.
Double attack going.
Janet, you gotta move.
Janet, you're in games. There you go.
There you go, she got it.
All right. Thanks for letting her know. Yeah, it's no fun losing a game, even if it doesn't count, because you didn't move.
No.
So it looks like Irv's sitting out this round so far. Do we have 6 people now, by the way? No, still 5.
I figured this way everybody could play.
Yeah, you'll be sitting out. Oh, did you pause so that you'd set out?
So yeah.
Did you pause so you forced it to be sit out? Oh, okay. So, okay. So the knight wasn't free. I mean, the fork, the trade was possible. It's a nice job getting rid of the fork. Yep. So if white had chased the knight first, right? Well, can't, right? Because the knight's in the way. So it's a long story, right? How about taking first? How about white takes knight, pawn takes, then you get a 3-way fork. You win this pawn, or this pawn. That would have been simple, right? So coming here, black defends that square. So remove the defender, takes back, that's only logical move. And then you get to attack all 3 pawns. That's what white could have done, and that's one of the things that we could teach white later. But right now, we're just, again, this is beginners, learning how pieces move, learning how they play together, how they interact. Hey, guys. Hi to both of you. Josue and Lycan, glad you can make it. We are learning about minor piece play, and we are in a practice. We're really done with the lecture part, and we are reviewing the games. But we're seeing that most of the problems in these games have to do with the fact that free candy is being given away and other problems. Janet, nice job finding an attack. And they traded off 1 piece already, but Janet's finding a nice attack, going to win material. Should win material. And we have a counter attack. Boom and boom. Which one do you want to give up? You could give up the doubled pawn. Simple. But then from this pawn, you get a lot more attacks, right? So might decide to protect this pawn and give up that one where the knight has no place to go. Whoa, what? What am I missing? We get what? What was that? We sacked for a pawn? We only got 2 pawns for a piece. How many pawns is a minor piece worth? 3, guys. We don't want to trade our bishop or knight unless we're getting 3 or more pawns. We want 3 or more pawns. All right?
Is it fair to say that we would make that trade if we're creating a pass pawn?
If you're creating a pass pawn at the right time where that pawn can actually push, yes, that's fine. But if you're creating that pass pawn when that pawn has no hope of making it anywhere, then no, that would be bad. So yep, just getting all the pieces, all the pawns are being swiped off the board now. Okay, which way do you want to take back? All right, that's normal to take back. I'm saying that's a normal idea. I kind of like that because this should have been the threat, because then this gets to run. So I like this. This has some some play to it. Remember, guys, you only got 5 minutes. Do we have another? Ah, yes, another person wants to join the Ford live stream. Always happy to let people in. Okay, so this was big trouble. Oh, and just gave away the night too. Oh my goodness. Gave away too much and gave away another night. What is this with free candy today? Janet must still be euphoric about her win over Keith. She's giving away free candy left and right like it's Halloween. Ooh, that's what I gotta do. Is there theme music to the movie Halloween? Either that, we is that Halloween?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, I might have to get a clip of that. That would be nice. I like that. I'm gonna make a note. If I can find a pen. I found the pen. I'm gonna make a note. That, and it would be kind of neat to have a an emote with the who's the killer in Halloween? Is it Jason or is that a different movie? I don't know. Is that Jason, guys? Do you know? Anybody like horror movies? Oh, it's open to students, but we open this up to everyone. Especially if you're lower rated, you can play in it. We have 8 minutes left. Oh, it's Michael Myers, not who did I say? I said Jay. Thank you, wife. Jason. I said Jason. It's Michael Myers. That's right. Okay. Michael Myers doesn't even sound like a scary name.
I don't believe that. Michael Myers was the guy who played Austin Powers.
No, that was that wasn't Michael Myers, was it? That was it didn't play Austin. No, it's not Jason Myers. It's Michael Myers.
It's Mike Myers is the actor the comedian who played Austin Powers.
Who is?
Mike Myers.
No, who's the okay? Michael Myers is the one from Halloween. Jason is Friday the 13th? Right. Okay, Friday the 13th. Because Nightmare on Elm Street is Freddy Krueger, right? I don't know all these guys. Hey, Busy, thank you so much. Hey, guys, we got some more subs, which means, thank you, Busy. Because you guys have subs, that means you can get free lessons. Wow, Busy gifting subs. You're so nice, Busy. Say again?
Stalemate.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Vicious got a free sub. ZP, I haven't seen him in months.
Okay.
Daywin,
That's why
formerly
I played to
Auntie,
the end, Murph.
and Coach V.
Yeah.
Marty, the question is, did Busy do the subs because we
I was practicing the end game.
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
I forgot.
I thought you had it there.
Well, I did. I forgot the bishop was blocking.
Ah, stalemated. Look at all the power. He had all those pieces, and and good job of getting your pawns locked. But yeah, white was dominating and just stalemated black. You never give up, never surrender. So why do you think Busy might have given out subs, Irv?
clearly because he's a fan of the horror genre.
Oh no, I don't think so. Yes.
Watching us play, he's reminded of all the horror movies.
Austin Myers. Austin Myers? No, it's not Austin. It's Austin.
Austin Powers.
Austin Powers. But who played Austin Powers?
Mike Myers.
But he's
Myers.
That's all. Michael Myers is the name of the horror. The guy that's the killer.
I know.
Oh, okay. You knew it. I didn't know it.
For Michael, I knew that.
Okay. You threw me
Well,
off.
I met Jamie Lee Curtis once when
Really?
I was young.
You're my hero.
Yeah, ran into her one time.
Wow, Jamie Lee Curtis. That would be kind of cool to run into her. Hey, so.
Back in the 80s. Back
Oh,
in
even
the
better.
80s, yeah, exactly. I'll leave it at that.
Hey, every movie she's. I tell you what, I really liked her in True Lies. Excellent movie, guys. True Lies, check it out. But Busy gifting, he's gifted now 43 subs to this channel already. That's pretty.
I'm gonna have to go with Trading Places.
Oh, you like Trading Places? It's a good one. But that's a very young Jamie Lee, and I don't even think she got to act too much in that one. I thought she was a bet. I thought they got to show more of her range in True Lies.
Yes, but I thought she was perfectly fine.
Oh no, she's. What movie don't you like her in?
She was even good in Freaky Friday.
Yeah, like I said, give me a movie that you didn't like her in.
Well, I didn't see any of the whatever it is, the Halloween movies or whatever it is that she was in.
Yeah, I didn't even remember she was in those. Yeah, I don't think of her as a horror movie
I
actress.
think that was her first big break was in those movies.
Oh, in the horror movies?
Yeah, I think so.
Huh, because she's been doing them forever. Well, that's like Sigourney Weaver in Alien movies.
Oh my goodness, those are horrible. I mean, those are scary.
Yeah, oh, Alien scared me so bad when they first came out. When I was a kid and I saw the Alien movies, wow, I was so scared. Oh, yeah, Linear says the Halloween was her breakout movie.
Yeah. Well, listen, after Alien, I stopped eating Chinese food for 3 months.
I don't blame you. What a scary movie. I haven't shown that one to my 15-year-old, and I probably won't. Ah, Janet's got a game. Just started. All right. Josue's in the house. Hey, and Josue, your rating actually makes you legal anyway. We were trying to do 1,600 and below, so you're definitely invited to come and play in these. Wednesdays, just join us for the practice times on Wednesdays. You can do it. It's 1,600 below for the beginner's class. Yeah, no, I think an Alien versus Mike Myers spinoff, Alien would destroy Michael Myers. Come on, Alien? Whew. I got you thinking about that movie. That was some good stuff. That was some good scary stuff. Wow, this is beautiful, guys. Do you see what I see? I'd be like, let me see, because boy, this is almost, except this comes back. Oh, and then you win it. I don't know if you win it because you can chase, but I'd be doing it and then get a pass pawn maybe. Yeah, this is beautiful. Let's see if Josue finds it. Yeah, Alien. Wow, those were some good movies. Oh, darn it. Well, and here's the thing. We know he has to find this move. Because otherwise it's mate, right? I mean, otherwise it's you resign. So you have to find the move. Hey, Coach, you got a free subscription from Busy. Yeah, Busy. Thanks so much again, Busy. It means more lessons. That's the way I look at it. More people can get lessons. Oh, why? Oh, why? What do you do when you pin a piece, Josue? When you pin a piece, you pile up on it, Josue. What is this? What is this? What is this? I don't even understand what that is. Agreed. Yes, Busy. Totally agree on all of that. That's what I was thinking. All of that, my friend. That would have been so sweet. Black may have had to try this, even on that, right? Go after this bishop. But yeah, that would have been so sweet. I mean, man, that would have just been genius right there, and then. Yeah, and I think it still would have. So, if he went here, king went here, bishop can go back. I like it all the way personally, but he could have went all the way back, And then he's still going to lose him. So what do, right? If you attack, you get to take with check. If you take, you take. And the king can't go here and the king can't go there because the bishop still... Oh, that would have been so sweet. So sweet. Yes. That would have been so sweet. And just totally missed. And now this isn't even available. And taking with the knight, I don't know why not take with the pawn, but... Oh, let's go see how Janet and Ostrovich is doing. Trap the bishop. So that happens a lot, but wow, that happened without... So normally this mistake happens because there's a pawn there, and we call it a poison pawn, but Janet went there without taking a pawn. I have totally no idea why. Now, granted, the knight was attacking, but it could have just went back here, right, guys? So I don't understand this move at all. Trap the bishop. And trap the bishop. Wow, that was just free candy. So, more free candy. Pawns are gold. Pawns are gold. Pawns are worth gold, guys. You want to take as much gold as you can. Take all that free candy if you can. Pawns are worth gold, especially in this, because we don't have any major pieces. It's even hard to checkmate if you have the bishop and the knight left. If you have two knights, you're not going to be able to checkmate. So, go for it. Oh, look at that. Busy. Some love. Saying you play like Bobby Fischer. Oh, my goodness.
You know, I got that book for Christmas.
Which one is that? Bobby Fischer's Best Games or something?
Yeah, the one where you flip it back and forth, and it's really great. A great pocket book.
Yep. And here, black had taken. White would have to take here, because otherwise the bishop falls, right? So, takes here with check. Could have taken back with here or here. Then you take, and the king, if you took with the king, you get to take back. You would own material. But instead, we step away, allow him to step away, and then we gave away free candy. And there's time, but Keith gave away free candy. So, Josue finds it. But Josue had some great moves earlier, and he just never took them. So, definitely can help Josue. Josue, unfortunately, didn't get a gift sub. I gotta send Busy a message later. Besides the great thank yous that for the gift subs he gave out, I gotta share something with him later. It's a secret. I won't tell you guys. Getting that gold. Well, this one might be hanging, maybe not. Getting the gold. Take as much gold as he can. So Josue's up a whole piece. Oh, tournament is over, so that's why no more pairings. I was wondering. And our class ran over, which it does occasionally. But I will cut this at like 2 hours and 20 minutes. 1 hour and 20 minutes, so I cut out Murph's expletive and keep it to, I've been keeping him to like an hour and a half, so.
I blame the Cowboys for that. Sorry.
No worries, no worries. Very good find, Josue. So Josue didn't find the whole beautiful sequence we talked about, which should have been easy to find. Now again, we haven't taught that part yet, but that is a beginner thing that we've talked about. We will be teaching. But when you pin a piece, you pile up on it, guys. So I don't like this. Why? Because we're just encouraging black's pawn activity, right? So instead of encouraging pawn activity, he should have just backed it out here where it's safe and sound, or even here where you can stop things like that. But yeah, he's giving up pawn activity. Now this pawn take is beautiful because that falls to this and you drop a piece. Yipper. And then this pawn is going to probably fall next. Now you can't come back and protect it. And he could try to win the knight. But yeah, no, not with check. So now he gets this pawn, and then he gets to run away. And he should have went here, so that way he attacks both, right? He goes here and he attacks both. Clever. If you take, I get to queen. And now what? See, the bishop's going to get here. So, clever, but doesn't work. Can just take this pawn and then that pawn. Bishop has to go here. Let's go. And Keith is low on time. Oh, so is Josue. What? Push. Let's go. Push. No, I can't push. Oh, look at that cleverness. Look what Josue found. That is nice, Josue. Josue found the answer. Freed the bishop. Nicely done. Nicely done.
Josue. Good
Josue.
job, buddy.
Yeah, good games, guys. Good job, guys. So that's our lesson for today. We learned about using minor pieces. We did get to use all the minor pieces. Next week, we will move up to, I believe it's major pieces. Let me check my itinerary for the class. So we just finished doing some more games with knights and bishops. So we did king plus knights. Then we did king plus, I think we did bishop and knight.
We got to do bishop and knight.
We did bishop and knight. We did king plus all minor pieces. So we've done both now. We've done those. The only one we didn't do is knights versus bishops.
Oh, that's the one, yeah.
Yeah, so that one we might still do. I might still do that one. Next week. And then we'll be getting into kings and rooks, and kings and queens, and kings with the queen versus rooks. And that will finish our training on pieces. Then we'll start getting into some basic tactics and other concepts, like what are your goals in the opening? You guys already know it, but we'll be teaching. Remember, we're teaching a beginner class, so stepwise growth. Everything is building on each other. So we will be talking about how you start a game and what you have to do in the game, and we'll be covering things like what's legal castling and illegal castling. Haven't even had to worry about that because we don't even have the major pieces on the board yet, right? So we're stepwise learning, and this is the way that I would teach. Somebody asked me, how would you teach from a very much a beginner? And so this has been a great opportunity for me to practice that and do that. And I appreciate and thank my class for the In Real Life class for participating and giving me feedback and being the students on stream. I appreciate you letting me do that on stream. So thank you very much. I did find